Hey guys, I'm Eb, the black nerd that talks about life lessons from the stuff that we love, like video games and anime. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. Alright, so I feel that, since Naruto has started, I feel like one of the most popular characters that's like, one of the characters that has unexpectedly become really popular since like Naruto started like back in 2000 has definitely been Itachi Uchiha. Mm-hmm. And right here I have my guy
Jin.
Okay, we're gonna go with Jin. And he has a lot to say about Itachi, especially as we've all seen, Itachi's relationship with Sasuke and how evolved over the course of the series. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you what Itachi means to you and kind of like how he's impacted your life, especially, what we're talking about in terms of love and whatnot.
He just had that drip about him, that swag about him.
You talking when you put Kakashi to coma by stabbing him in his own brain? You're like, yo, this is my character. I want to do that one day.
It was more like how he appeared on the scene. It was just him and Kisame. They both showed up in the village. They weren't bothering anybody. They didn't put on a show. They were just walking through, and they realized, okay, there's some eyes on us. We need to kind of change locations, change venues, because this could be serious. And in that decision that he made, you'll see as we talk later on, it showed his level of thinking and how he's always aware of his surroundings and what's going on about him. And he's definitely someone that marked because he came off very, very humble, very quiet, very reserved, and only spoke when he really felt like it was necessary. And that's something that definitely marks me. And he's very skillful. He's driven.
Archery for you?
Yeah. To have a character like that, right off the bat, that piques your interest. You're gonna want some backstory. Understand like where is he coming from, what's going on, and in order to do that, you had to continue following with the series. And through following with the series, you realize that there's so much more to him. There's so much more to his actions because he was already painted as a villain. Like right off the bat, he's painted as a villain. But, there's one line that he says when his brother confronts him and he's like, I want the truth. And he counters that by saying, what is truth? And that speaks...
Is that in Shippuden or is that in pre-time skip?
That's in Shippuden.
Okay. Yeah, that's like when they were fighting at the Uchiha...
hideout, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So when they finally meet then, his brother asks him, what is the truth? What's been going on? And he's like, what is truth? Which goes to show that there's a lot of information that we passed down about you, or rumors that we passed around about you, but no one truly understands the truth. And even if they do know the truth, that doesn't mean they understand it. And that speaks a lot because that speaks true in today's world where anybody can be accused of anything. And the people who know the truth are the people who are actually affected and know what's really happening. And until you bring that facts and understanding, it's just going to be he or she saying it. Yeah, so that character really spoke to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it makes me remind of the quote. What was it? We were talking about on WhatsApp. It was, people follow their own perception of reality. I always love that quote from Itachi. Like, no matter what you see, it's only your way of looking at it. Like, you literally cannot grab someone else's brain and eyes and then put it into your own body. Like, oh, that's what they're saying. Like, everyone just, even like these, like my PS3 and PS4 are black, but that's my own perception. Like it's my own perception. Like you could see a completely different color, and I can't deny you. I can't tell you you're wrong because like it's what your own eyes and your brain are registering.
Yeah, it's true. That is really true. And which also comes into effect where he's actually talking to his brother too, and he's like, until you see what I see with your eyes, and then we could talk. You gotta understand certain things. You gotta go through certain things, and then once you gotten to a certain point of understanding for yourself, then let's rap afterwards.
Wow, I never realized there was like kind of like a double meaning because the whole time, Itachi made this thing that like he wanted Sasuke to get a Mangekyo Sharingan before but it's actually you just don't understand what's going on. That's like it makes you think of like that line that Itachi always said, like what do your eyes with your Sharingan see? Like he always kept asking Sasuke, like, what do your eyes see?
Yeah.
And
it's like, he masks it a certain way because, he's throughout this entire thing, he's always tried to keep the persona that he was this psycho killer that wiped out his entire clan
for no reason.
But for no reason.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it. He would throw in, what does your Sharingan's eye see? But it's like more than what do you understand? What have you seen up to this point? What have you experienced in this world of hurt, this world of pain, but yet also this world of joy and love? And let's talk about it.
And that's the thing. Like Sasuke always kept saying, like he was like, "Oh, I see your death," and I guess in many ways that was a very short-sighted, view of like what Itachi was asking him of, which is why Itachi, in certain ways, and I guess it goes back into like when Itachi came back as like a really and truly a zombie. He was just like, I never really told you the truth, and so it was impossible for him to understand.
It was very difficult for Itachi to get his point across because there was so much anger and hatred and vengeance in Sasuke's eyes that when they finally met, the fight broke out immediately.
Yes. And that kept happening up until, like I said, Itachi when he was like a zombie, and then that was even the one time Itachi was like, honestly, I never took your perspective seriously. Yeah. And then that's really when they're like really at the end of the relationship. That's when the relationship shifted.
Yeah, it shifted, and then there was like that. There was that common ground that they came to when they started fighting alongside each other towards a common. I mean, you realize that what was painted about my brother wasn't exactly true.
And then for Itachi, was like, the way I see my younger brother is not exactly the case he's capable of.
Right.
He's more of a complex person than just like my younger brother.
Yeah, because the thing about Itachi also is that he was exposed to the end of the Third Great Ninja War.
What? True. Yeah.
As like almost a toddler, basically. His father brought him to the battlefield and saw all this happening, and so he's exposed to carnage and to war, to strife, and being exposed to that, and having that kind of harsh reality being imposed on you reflects a lot on how you develop later on in life, which is why he has such an advanced way of thinking, because
as a pacifist,
there's more to the happy-go-lucky life that everybody was experiencing. There's more than just the village perspective. There's more than just the clan's perspective. There's a whole world in a whole that needs to be considered, and so it's something definitely to really think about and to really consider when approaching someone and when trying to come to their reality. And that is something that was not possible in Sasuke's case. It was just anger and frustration because of the loss that he had received,
along with the Itachi keeping Sasuke at arm's length too, because he wasn't really let Sasuke in on what happened. He's like, I'm trying to protect you.
He was trying to protect him, but also trying to build him up to get him stronger. When he said, hate me, was a way of him getting him to push him to do better. To if there's a goal, a fixed target that you're aiming at, let me be that person. Let me be that villain.
Let me be your purpose.
Let me be purpose. Exactly. So there's a lot he's being torn to, and what was so interesting is that he was so focused in his decision. He was able to keep a level head. He was able to, when making that decision, he was able to keep a level head and to be objective, because it was very important to him. But throughout all of that, he had that one love, which is his brother, his little brother. Regardless of who was going to be toppling who, he needed to ensure that his brother was protected.
That's exactly what I want to talk to you about, because I remember, I think we were having in our conversation on WhatsApp, we were talking about how Itachi's love had such a big impact on you, and I was wondering if you could kind of expand on that in terms of, especially the concept of facts and versus essentially fiction. That is something very much you relate to, because we were talking about that in the car in terms of both our experiences, but even in terms of the way Itachi loves. I was wondering how that impacted you, especially you as like a father. Like, what does that mean? And how that like kind of shape.
Yeah, because Itachi's a character that is very objective, and he's very calm and analytical. He was an introvert, and for those that he interacted with, there were few. But he was an introvert, and what he did was analyzed people that was around him. He analyzed people first before coming in contact with them. Yeah, and Itachi was secure in himself. He was so secure in himself that he understood that his decision was the right decision to make, and that it didn't matter what people were going to paint him as. He had a clear goal, and he knew what he wanted to do. I mean, his goal was that he was going to be painted as the bad guy. The leaders for the village were looking for a way out to deal with the clan, and the clan was looking to do some damage, and something needed to be done. So he became that scapegoat. He became that bad guy. They dubbed him the clan killer, right? True. And in his mind, he was going to do that, and he bargained that they spare his brother's life. Now, his goal also was that to get his brother strong to a point that he will be able to kill him and be painted himself as the hero who avenged his clan. That was his goal. But things took a turn because the truth wasn't fully known to Sasuke, and he was still a child, right? He's still a child, and having outside influences like Orochimaru, twisting
Naruto.
up, and Naruto as well, because you got this happy-go-lucky kid who didn't understand loss because he didn't have anything to begin with.
Exactly, and so he built a connection outside of. He built connections outside of Itachi, and I guess that may not have been the thing that Itachi counted on, I guess, in the sense of, because also, as I think about it, Naruto also offered Sasuke unconditional love.
Right. But then love is also hope, right? And Itachi and Sasuke. Love is also hope.
Ooh.
Sasuke met...
with that one.
Itachi met Naruto at some point, and that's when he entrusted his hope to Naruto that he would be the one to save Sasuke. That's when he gave Shisui, his best friend's eye, to Naruto. Yeah. So it's like passing down the hope of the flame. So basically the hope of the will of fire down to Naruto. And to hope that it would actually save Sasuke in the end. Because he knew that Sasuke was going down a path based on, as a result of the actions and the choices that Itachi made. Itachi understood that he needed to make a choice. He did it, but as a result, it affected his brother's love for him. And that's what happened to Sasuke. The trauma changed things, and it made him angry, it made him stronger, but it also geared him down a path that was not fully expected. It was expected of him to become the hero, but not expected that he would actually become the villain once he understood the truth.
So I guess in a sense, like, Itachi also didn't fully understand the truth when it comes to Sasuke as a person.
No.
Because he wasn't able to kind of change. Would you still call it unconditional love, even though it didn't have the ability to change, like how you were describing with you and your daughter?
It was unconditional love, because afterwards he was still saying that it doesn't matter what you choose to do, I'll always love you. And I mentioned that to my daughter many times. I was like, I'll always love you. And at one point she paused and she looked at me and she's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Of course I'm sure. Of course I'm sure. Like, whatever you choose to do, at the end of the day, I will always love you." I mean, Sasuke attacked the Kage Summit. Yep. I mean, he wanted to destroy the village, the same village that Itachi sacrificed his livelihood to protect. Yep. And throughout all of that, he still says, I'll always love you no matter what.
Became an international criminal. Terrorist, sorry. Not even a criminal, terrorist. Yeah. What sort of thing, or what sort of parts in Naruto really stood out to you in terms of Itachi's relationship with Sasuke?
If you have that kind of love and that kind of devotion to that unconditional love that you profess to have, don't keep it in the dark.
What do you mean? How have you seen? How's that?
Itachi kept it in the dark. He kept it in the dark the entire time. He put himself out there as the bad guy. Whenever he spoke, he always spoke as if he was never boastful. But when he did boast about something, it was to just basically up that character of being the bad guy. But that's not who he was. He cared deeply, and even the second Hokage said it, that the Itachis, the Uchihas are the only clan members that love fiercely. They care so much. They're too sensitive. They love too much. That's why they get so powerful.
What do I want to say? Would you say there's other characters that kind of share that concept of love that Itachi has in Naruto? Like, I thought of someone in mind, but I wanted to ask you first.
Oh, well, you go ahead first. You go ahead. Because,
Guy and Rock Lee. Right off the bat.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Because it's like a father-son. Even though they're not father and son, there is that bond, there is that love and respect for each other. Yeah, I see that. It's there. But to the top tier level of love that you've seen expressed in Itachi, it's not there. You've had some characters that would say that they love each other, but it's not.
Oh, I forgot. I remember two more, but go on.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's at that point because you had Hinata, right?
I was gonna say Hinata.
You have Hinata, who's now Naruto's wife. Mm-hmm. But I mean, she spent half her life skulking in the shadows like a stalker, and the only time that she actually admits that she loves him is like
the last movie. No,
fighting against Pain, and
yeah.
she got broke up. She got destroyed. It was at that moment, having that, do or die moment. That was the only time that she really expressed it, and she tried to defend Naruto, who was incapacitated at the time. But it's like it doesn't add up. Like, it doesn't add up. There wasn't that kind of sacrifice. There wasn't that kind of real hardship that breaks down barriers of what a person is going to accept. It's not like the love was known beforehand and they just went through some stuff. And once they got past that hurdle, that love is still there.
There wasn't the same level of like kind of strife and pain that happened between Sasuke and Itachi.
Because what really shows that unconditional love is not the surface. It's not shallow.
Just watching, loving them.
It's something that's been tried through some serious fire.
Yeah, Naruto never really went evil. I guess he nearly died, which is she's very self-sacrificing, which makes her.
I mean, throughout the entire thing, have you really seen Naruto actually kill someone for someone? You've never seen that kind of sacrifice.
And then, Hinata has never done that. So I guess pain is also kind of pain. Love is unconditional love is kind of maybe painful, I guess.
It is. It's long suffering, man. It's something that you have to go through to really understand what you're made of, what that person is made of, and what that love is made of. At what level?
That's to kind of test you.
Yeah. What kind of conditions are you willing to go through for that person? And what level of conditions that person's going to go for you? And once you both go through your own experiences and your own trials, once you come out of it, are you still the same? No, you're not still the same, but is that love still there? So is it still true for you what it was before to really stand in that love?
So I guess Sakura would probably be more of a long one, because she's really was still loving Sasuke even when he was just you're annoying, I hate you.
Yeah, but she hasn't. Did she sacrifice anything? She was there, and she was it was almost as if she was a glutton for punishment, though. If someone is flat out rejecting you, that's not love. It's almost borderline obsession. It's like we were talking before in the car. If someone approaches you at work or wherever, and they're just I love you, I care about you, and you flat out refuse them, you reject them, and they just keep on persisting. I don't even know what to say anymore. He knocked her out just to get away from her when they were kids.
He did own her kids?
Yeah.
I thought it was only after the Great Ninja War.
No. He knocked her out. He knocked her out when they were kids. When he was leaving, he left the hospital and he was going to go
Yes.
He knocked her out there. Almost killed her in Shippuden.
Yeah.
Poisoned her.
Yeah.
Was about to finish her off, about to kill her. And even after that, even after the Great War, knocked her out again when leaving.
Yeah.
Came back a couple of times and just left without saying a word, and probably gave her a kiss or something. We don't even know if they got married.
So how do you see their relationship?
It's weird, man. Man came into town, breed her, and then left, and then came back, and then didn't even recognize his own daughter. Was almost about to kill her. There is unfortunately, if it's not for that child, there's no attachment there. I don't know what love you can speak of. It just connected, but there really isn't that kind of foundation to be called proper love, really. It's just her staying home and accepting whatever he gives her. Never says when he's coming back. He could leave months at a time, years at a time, even probably die on a mission and not say anything.
True.
Every person that has gotten married or had children together in that village has stayed together. He's the only person that decides to leave and do his own thing. And yeah, I don't know.
Like, what would you call like Hinata and Naruto then?
Now it's like it's proper work. Like now they've worked at it. They've actually acknowledged it. Even Naruto was oblivious to it for a while until the last. I think.
The Naruto last. Yeah. And well, that's what I mean. Like them as like adults now. Like how like would you call that like unconditional, or is that still like?
I don't know if I could call that unconditional because I haven't seen the struggles that they've gone through or the work that they put into it. I mean, now it's like... So for you have to really kind of see the work. There has to be some kind of work. There has to be some kind of character development. Like, you've seen the growth of characters, but have you really seen their development, how they change, how they become someone different?
Kind of like, I guess you could say... Yeah, I guess when you think about it, like, a lot of the characters who were able to experience unconditional love, they were able to transition that into someone else. Like, you know, like Sasuke learned love from Itachi. It was kind of warped in certain times. And you see it in certain trends with the way that, like, he interacts with Sakura and also his daughter. And then you see it how Naruto has learned to do that in terms of towards Hinata. He hasn't quite learned to do that with his kids. He's never, as you say, he's never had a dad, but he's learned to do that in terms of Hinata and showing her that sort of love.
On top of that, he's Hokage, so he considers everybody in the village to be his kids.
Exactly.
So it's like, to be able to pinpoint it only and focus on your kids, it's like the president's kids kind of thing.
Exactly. Exactly. And so even like, you know, like, what's it called? Maito Dai, you know, really taught Guy on like how to love, and then Guy taught that to Lee, and now Lee is teaching that to Metal, and so you're just seeing that like, this is what love looks like. I'm gonna give it to you, and then you're gonna like, Lee and his son are just doing the whole handstand thing too. Yeah, around the village 100 times.
You know, like I feel what adds to that unconditional love is that you let that person know what the dangers are. You love them so much that you have to stay away from them. Why do you have to stay away from them? Because now they're thinking it's their fault.
They're internalizing it.
They're internalizing it, and that is something that hits
making them suffer.
That hits hard. That hits hard with parents who are away from their kids. It hits hard if I'm not there around my daughter. She'll start thinking that it's her fault that I'm not around, and that's not the case. And that's something that you have to address. That's something that you have to deal with, because there are many kids that are out there who have lived their lives thinking that their parents who are not present did not want anything to do with them, and that it's their fault, and they don't know the full story. You need to understand the truth so that you're not misguided by the falsehood from other things.
So it's honesty.
It's honesty. You have to be honest.
I think you said being transparent. About the love. Okay.
Yeah, being honest and you got to, and you have to really trust and hope that the love that you have that is true to you can reach them, and that the truth will hurt. Truth hurts. No matter how you package it, truth hurts. If it's something that can hurt, it will hurt. But you gotta hope that your love will reach them and attain them, no matter what. And that's how it came for Itachi. Man, he tried. You know, he tried it his own way. It didn't work, so he just really hoped that it would come through.
Transparency. Yeah. But he just became like you talk about when he was a zombie and everything, right? Like,
but even before then, he entrusted it to Naruto that he hoped that love would reach.
That was when he was a zombie. Yeah. Oh no, he put it before. Yeah, you're right. He put it before in the beginning of Shippuden. Yeah. But yeah, there's so much things I've learned about from myself from anime, and it kind of, I guess, you know, because it's hella late, we can like kind of wrap this up, and I just want to ask you, because like you're talking about like, you know, unconditional love has suffering. Like, where does the suffering stop? Because you also talked about self-love and like, you know, having food for oneself. Like, what is that kind of balance like? How are you going to tell someone like, well, as long as you're unhappy, you're definitely in unconditional love? Like, what is
No. I mean, yeah, there is going to be that hardship. The hardship is always going to be there. Hence why it's always important to be that kind of person where you're patient, where you're understanding, where you're comforting. You know, when you're with your spouse, your loved one,
Mm-hmm.
When she flips out on you for whatever reason, and you don't know, you have to have that understanding to look past that anger, look past that. You know, she's gonna come and she's gonna be mad at you, and she's gonna give you that one slap. You know your chest is gonna be heated.
Yep.
Right. So, but you can't allow yourself to get that angry. You know, you gotta look past that. And you gotta keep loving her. And there's that anger. She's angry at you, and she's arguing, and that argument's coming. That argument could come from a place of love as well. And she's tired of seeing you in a certain state, and she wants to help you get better because she knows the potential that you have to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa for the other. Like she would need that talking to. If she feels like she's going down a path where she's just feeling depressed all the time, or she's feeling like she's alone against the world.
That's the thing.
You gotta be that rock to be able to stand right next to her, beside her, in front of her, behind her, wherever that she would need you to be. And you have to be constantly professing that, constantly showing that, constantly. You can say it as much as you want until you turn purple, because that's what we're gonna turn. But turn purple. But the action speaks a lot. And once the action comes out, and she feels that, and when she sees you and that smile comes on her face, or his smile comes on his face, like, you know that love is there. You know, love is there. The fight is always going to be there. You know, like, I see couples. There was a clip of like the oldest couple in the world or something like that. But there are couples out there that have been together for like 40 years, 50 years, and you wonder how long or what have they gone through. And a couple that's been together for more than 50 years, you know, they probably saw World War II. Like, if that doesn't tell you that they've been through some trying things, your husband leaves to war, you don't know if he's coming back. And there they are together, and every day after that, you have to deal with a husband that's seen
things that, like,
horrible things that a man can do to another man. And you got to be that person to be able to be understanding when he lashes out, understanding when he's not talking, understanding when he is just having these fits. Like, there's a lot that's going on. It takes patience, it takes work. You're working on the field of your heart, and that takes work. You got to turn the soil.
You're working on the field of your heart.
Yeah, man. You got to turn the soil. You got to water it. You got to air it out.
The variables.
Everything, man. It's a lot of work.
When does the suffering kind of stop? Because like, are we supposed to kind of all suffer like Itachi, or is like where's like kind of the cutoff point in terms of giving someone an unconditional? Unless that's also something that kind of varies too.
When you're dead, yo, Itachi kept going till he died. Until his body turned to dust. He was like, I love you no matter what. Died with a smile on his face. He's like, I love you no matter what. And he just said, deuces, peace out, disappeared. So
I guess it's really about, like,
it doesn't stop.
Knowing that you do love someone too, in a sense. Because, you know, some people, like, how you're talking about kind of Sakura, and there's, like, the idea of, like, obsession, or even, like, loving the idea of someone versus loving who someone actually is. It's only really unconditional when you actually know and understand who that person is.
Yeah, you love them, and that person feels loved.
They feel the love. Okay. The love
also.
Okay.
It's one thing to just give, but that person doesn't feel you.
Giving isn't love. Essentially, they're not exactly the same. Just because you're giving doesn't mean you love them, and just because
you take it in, and you show you take it in doesn't
mean you love them back.
Right.
Oh, all right. This has been a really good session. This is like, and this is us just talking right off the bat like that. It's the first time we hang out, so this has been, honestly, I did not think the session would happen for like another 6 months.
Oh, it had to happen, man. It had to happen somehow. And the fact that it happened now, yo.
Yeah, once this happened, I was like, okay, no, this is okay. I'm cranking out my content again. Like, once I was just like, you were the sign. You were the sign. Like, get back on it. So
it's necessary.
100%. All right. So here's our conversation talking about Itachi and his eternal love. Not Sharingan. He didn't have that. He just had the Mangekyo. This eternal love. What that looks like to him. So thankfully we had Jin here. This is Ab. We're out. Hope you guys enjoyed this conversation.